What's going on, guys? Briar Rabbit here. Last night, the Planet Destiny team and I recorded the Planet Destiny podcast. And while we were talking about the Festival of the Lost, I brought up a concern of mine, and it appeared to be something that the other guys on the podcast hadn't thought about too much. And we discussed it a little bit, but I wanted to elaborate on my thoughts a little bit more in video form because I feel like it was a half-baked idea when I brought it up on the podcast. I've had a little more time to think about it, and I just want to kind of voice my concern. So here's the crux of the idea, right? It's that instead of getting DLCs, 2 DLCs throughout the year for Destiny, something like we got last year with the Dark Below and the House of Wolves, instead what we're probably going to see, at least what we expect to see at this point, is more of a trickle of content. And with the Festival of the Lost, I think we got a first sneak peek at the kind of content we can expect. And that worries me to a pretty good extent. And the reason for that is I don't think that Festival of the Lost type content is enough. Now, don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the Festival of the Lost. I think it's really fun. You know, it was a really great surprise on Monday to just all of a sudden to see the tower decorated in kind of Halloween stuff and all the blue candles and go around trick-or-treating. I was laughing out loud while I was actually recording my video, like checking out Cade Six's Eris Morn costume and getting raisins from Eris Morn. I thought it was a brilliant thing, and I really enjoyed it. But to me, it doesn't replace what I've come to expect from Destiny on kind of, a regular basis, and that is the big DLCs. The Dark Below, the House of Wolves type DLCs. So if you read the Kotaku article that came out a couple of weeks ago, it's pretty controversial article inside the Destiny community. And one of the reasons it's controversial is because the sources for it weren't cited. And that makes sense because they're talking about some insider secrets about what went on in the Destiny development. But what it also talks about is the future of Destiny and how content is going to be released for Destiny. Now, we've seen the release of the Eververse trading company, and we now have a clue that that is supposed to pay for basically this live team that Destiny now has. And they're going to be kind of doing stuff like this Festival of the Lost, where like live daily stuff, kind of the player experience that needs to be modified, or new stuff that comes out kind of on a trickle is going to be provided for us by this live team. What we don't know is if there's going to be new big DLCs, paid DLCs like the Dark Below or House of Wolves. We don't know if that's going to happen in the future. The Kotaku article says, no, there's not going to be that kind of thing. Instead, the Eververse trading company is actually going to be funding kind of much smaller trickle type expansions to Destiny. And that worries me because I really like having like the big, huge releases of the DLCs that we've seen in the past. Now, obviously the DLCs we've had in the past are of varying quality. I did really enjoy the Dark Below DLC. There was definitely some issues with the story, there were some issues with the raid, but overall I thought it was great fun, and it was just right after the release of Destiny Vanilla that we got that thing, and it was a whole bunch of more content, right? But the second one, House of Wolves, it felt a little disappointing. The Prison of Elders didn't really pan out to be everything that they had said it was going to be. Trials of Osiris was brilliant, but that was just a PvP mode. Other than that, we didn't really get a whole lot. We got about 6 hours of new story, and then for the entire summer, basically, we were just waiting for the Taken King. And the Taken King was huge, right? The Taken King is an enormous expansion, and that looks like it's going to be what we get from Destiny in future years. We're going to get, a big release, a Destiny 1, a Destiny 2 every other year, and then a Comet release like the Taken King in the in-between year. So we'll get a big release from Destiny once every year, but no big DLCs in between. Apparently, according to the Kotaku article, that's just too much development. It's just too much, it's too much stress to release that stuff on a schedule for Bungie, which is understandable. But it's really disappointing too, because I want more raids. I want more story content throughout the year. I do not want to have to wait for an entire year to pass to get a new raid or to get new story content. Now, with the Eververse trading company, we may get a new raid that comes for free, but we may not. Bungie hasn't really commented on this, and I think they need to, because it's kind of concerning to somebody who plays Destiny a lot. I really love the game. You know, I play it every day. I really enjoy my time in the game. I love everything about the game, basically, at this point. I think they've fixed all of the major flaws about vanilla Destiny at this point, and I'm just having a ball with it. But the Taken King content is not going to last an entire year. You know, there's just no way. We're not going to be raiding inside the King's Fall raid for a year. We'll just get bored with it. We'll get sick of it. Just like we did with the Dark Below or the Vault of Glass. You know, the Vault of Glass was an extremely good raid, but you got sick of it eventually. You know, there's only so much that you can play the same content over again. So to wait until Destiny 2 for another big expansion really worries me. I don't know if this is going to be how it works, right? This is a lot of speculation. A lot of it comes from what we read in this Kotaku article, and I don't really know how much of that is going to be really correct. It may be old information. It may be coming from somebody who no longer works at Bungie. This was an old plan that no longer is in place. But if that article is to be believed, we're not going to get those big DLC drops that we got used to from year one. And that's kind of a bummer. To me, that's, you know, very concerning. So that's kind of what I was thinking about when I brought this topic up in the podcast last night. And I just wanted to elaborate on it a little bit. Honestly, it's a lot of speculation. I don't know if this is exactly how it's going to work, but it is very concerning. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this. Would you rather get big DLCs that do kind of, you know, they kind of break up the player base a little bit? You know, you might not be able to afford DLC 1 or DLC 2 when they come out, so you might be kind of locked out of that content. Do you like that model? Do you like the big DLC model? Or would you rather see the Eververse trading company kind of just release stuff for free throughout the year, but it may be much smaller kind of chunks of content at a time? Let me know down in the comments. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hit that like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And I'll see you guys next time.